Hello, and welcome back to DocTrack Training. For this lesson, we're going to look at the DocTrack Cloud Browser. In our last lesson, we learned that to the casual DocTrack user, working with attached cloud files is just the same as working with network files in many ways. But as you're about to learn, creating a new manual attachment to a file in the cloud is quite different. You already know that to make a manual attachment to a file on the network, you can either drag the file to the manual attachment target or browse through your file system using the Browse button. But cloud files aren't in your network, so you can't drag them to your target. And selecting the Browse button opens up the File Explorer. You can't use it to browse for files in the cloud. Or can you? In our last lesson, we explained that the first part of the path to a cloud attachment is the $, followed by the cloud ID. Well, here's a clever trick. Enter a $sign in the file name and then select the Browse button. That little $sign character changes the button from a file system browser to the DocTrack Cloud Browser. Let's take a quick tour. Over here is the folder tree. This is similar to what you'd see in the Windows File Explorer. But instead of folders in a shared location on your network, you see cloud IDs. The cloud provider is determined by the cloud ID. This one is based on the company's Amazon S3 account, and it's tied to a particular S3 username. If the S3 user tied to this cloud ID logged into that account through an internet browser, they'd see the exact same folders and files as you would see here in this cloud browser. Then, over here in the main grid, you see the files available in that folder to be attached. And when you select the file, the full path and file name is displayed down here. To show how this interface works, let's assume that the customer wants us to include a call-out sheet with their order. I know that someone has already created it and saved it to the folder in our S3 account for this customer order. Now I want to attach that call-out sheet to the customer order record in Sightline. Well, all I have to do is navigate to that folder just as I would in the Windows File Explorer. Then I highlight it, select OK, give it a description, and save it. Now it's attached. Notice that I have the same form output bundle options available to me. And since they want it with the order verification, I'll select that option now. I can open it the same way, and I can email it, print it, and bundle it the same way as well. In fact, the only differences are that it won't display in the previewer, and the Explorer icon for the attachment is disabled. Okay, so far so good. But typically, companies have more than one cloud ID. They might have accounts with different cloud providers, so they would need at least one cloud ID for each account. Or, as we discussed in the last lesson, sometimes a company might create a unique cloud ID tied to a specific subfolder in the same cloud account. To illustrate, let's do this again. Here are all of the cloud IDs that I have access to. For example, here's one we've set up for the company's Dropbox account. When I select that one, I now see a different set of folders. Again, these are the same folders you'd see if you'd logged into the Dropbox account with the Dropbox user credentials tied to this ID. So I can just navigate through these folders the same way to find and attach the file I need. Okay, now let's talk about this one. It's tied to the S3 account, just like the first Cloud ID we looked at. But the difference between them is that this one is restricted to the customer service subfolder. I'll only have access to that folder and the subfolders under it through this Cloud ID. Sometimes this can be a really good thing. If there's no reason to go poking around into other folders, using a restrictive Cloud ID will help avoid mistakes or access to sensitive files. That's how you use the DocTrack Cloud browser. And that's all for now.